Yeah, A&E is the parent network. It airs on History Channel, and we just had our third season that just finished airing.
What's the thought process behind this? Is it legit? Because a lot of people are like, finding Hitler, get the fuck out of here. They found Hitler, he died.
Yeah, I mean,
not really.
We don't know.
Right.
That's. I mean, this isn't like Ancient Aliens. This is They declassified a bunch of documents. Both the Israelis, the British, and the Germans and Americans in the past 20 years have been consistently declassifying documents. And there were a bunch of specifically FBI documents that we were spending millions and millions of dollars actively searching for Hitler after the war.
Really?
Yeah, like millions of dollars. Like Hoover was like, no, send more FBI agents to South America, to North Africa, go to the Canary Islands, go to Spain, trying to find out where this guy went. Tons of real FBI documents with real leads, with real informants, some first eye accounts saying that they physically. So anyways, that's the show, is us trying to find out, sift through reality and the fiction of the allure, the mystery of that asshole.
So what's the official story? The official story is that he killed himself, right?
Yep.
He killed himself in the bunker with Ava Braun.
Yep.
And is there any photographic evidence of his death or anything?
Yeah. So what the Russians got the body, and they got his skull. And when they brought it back to Moscow, nobody has ever been able to independently verify who and what this body is. They let one genetic test occur, and the body with the bullet holes that they said was Hitler, and have said, and that's the narrative, that's the story, that's all the eyewitness accounts that are even in the vicinity of collaborating with each other, and corroborating each other's testimony. Like the closest version, because none of it seems to be very accurate, is that, okay, here's Hitler's skull, and when they did the genetic testing, it's that of a 35-year-old woman. So they're like, oh, well, this isn't Hitler, but they've said for the past 80 years that this is Hitler. So, okay, first, before we start throwing stones at Russia, let's go back to 1945, April, in Berlin. You have the Allies coming in, wrecking shop, dropping bombs, blowing everything up they can in every single which way. You have the Russians coming in from the opposite direction. They don't even have enough guns to arm all their soldiers. So if they have 200 guys, or 200,000 guys, they have 100,000 guns. If the guy in front of you dies, you just pick up his gun. That's what's happening in April of 1945 in Berlin. So the noose is tightening. There is it is chaos, anarchy, pandemonium. This is hell on earth, is Berlin, 1945. So I don't know if you could get a real story, the way that we do it now, where we have, this forensic experts that come in and document everything, and we look at all the different testimonies, say this is exactly how, it's not CSI. This is 1945 Berlin. It's crazy. So I don't know.
So there was no absolute proof.
No.
And a lot of Nazis did escape and go to South America.
The majority of anyone with power. The Nuremberg trials were not a witch hunt, but it was to close a chapter so we could start moving forward with communism. That's what it was. The threat of fascism, the threat of Hitler, the threat of killing all the Jews, the threat of world domination by the Nazis, that threat's gone. What's the next threat?
Communism.
It's communism.
Right.
So that had to be a closed chapter of our history so we could focus our resources and our efforts to what inevitably was going to, the wall goes up. We have East and West Berlin. We're already looking at Korea. This happens almost overnight.
Right, very quickly.
When Patton's like, no, homies, we need to go all the way to Moscow. This is not the end of our war, and we didn't listen to him. We then have been, fighting communism for the past 75 years.
Well, Robert Downey Jr., just from Tropic Thunder, think about that. You could never do that anymore. You can't have blackface anymore.
Yeah, you know what? I'll say this. People have to understand where it comes from. There are real people out there that really mean you harm, like outside of us. There's some real people who really don't fucking like you, whatever you are, whether you're black, you're white, you're straight, you're gay, whatever it is. There's some people who really don't like. We're the entertainment, and it's easy. We're easy targets. It's easy for you to jump on Robert Downey Jr. or Jamie Foxx or Joe because it's easy. You know, when it's real things, which, you know, whether it's politics or whether it's whatever, a lot of times we're not ready for that fight. But it's easy to sort of pick the comedian. I called Robert. I said, listen, I need you to play a Mexican. He says, dude, here's the deal. Sure, fuck it. Sure, why not? Fuck it. Sure, of course. Sure, Mexican, whatever. But then he texts back and said, I'm nervous to play the Mexican. I said, well, shit, you played the black dude and you killed that shit. We're just all... You know, we got to be able to do characters.
What kind of blowback did he get from playing the black dude?
None. Because we fucked with him.
It was before The Wire, too, though. It was like, what year was Tropic Thunder? I feel like that was like 10 years ago.
It was a while. But here's the thing. We fucked with Robert Downey Jr. Like, that's our guy.
Right.
Like, I did his birthday party. And my first joke was, how dare you take all of these roles from black people? You know, and everybody's laughing. So it's sort of like the entertainers, man. You got to give us room. You know what I'm saying? Like to play in it. I'll show you when I.
Or you got to take that room.
You got to take it. You can't worry about. I saw Chappelle somewhere. It was like, you know, they were asking him about his jokes, and he's like, "Yo, man, look, you know, people have said worse shit." And I think he said something about Donald Trump saying grab him by the pussy or some shit, whatever. But it was true. It was like the one thing. That you look at what happened with politics this year, people sort of stripped away a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what you believed in, whatever person you voted for, there was a lot of things that were sort of addressed about, like, maybe we were playing things a little too close. Like some of those politicians were afraid to say what Donald Trump was saying, and they ended up being left in the dust because people were a little like, well, he's got a point in the sense of we're playing things a little too close.